Robert, was there something about the story itself to this series or about Ko that really made you want to embody him?
No.
Mhm.
uh, and in some ways, I, I was almost hoping to not do the series. I've never had a job before that I wanted to do so badly and also was so afraid to do, because I felt such responsibility that this family get a fair shake, that they that their traumas weren't exacerbated by this project, that I not take a horrible situation and somehow make it worse. That was really in my mind. And so I took several days before I accepted the job. Usually I'm like, a job, yes, yes. And this one I thought long and hard about because I knew that there would be, residual, you know, emotional, psychological things. I have 3 kids. I've lived a lot of the stuff that Ko has. Thank God, never a suicide. But my oldest daughter's the same age as Michelle Carter, so I feel like I've really had a first row seat to this generational divide around the smartphone. And yeah, so I just felt a lot for him.
You do seem to have a deep empathy for this family and the loss that they had. I'm sure the most difficult scene for you was when they told you you lost your son. Talk about filming that day.
Yeah, that was a really, really, really challenging day. The thing, you know, it's difficult material. It just is. To make it matters more difficult was, we were shooting in Savannah, Georgia, and on the day we shot that scene, I remember, I think the thermometer got up to 98 degrees, and we were outside in the sun. I'm in a wig and in a thick, shirt, and Scott Winter and I were just sweating, and then bawling, and then sweating, a lot of fluid, because we were trying to double for Massachusetts in the spring. So sometimes those are the most challenging parts. People think, oh, it's the emotional parts, but sometimes it's just the circumstances of where you're at shooting, whether it's rain or bad light or extreme heat or something like that, dealing with those circumstances while trying to stay true to a really difficult scene can sometimes be the real challenge, the environment. Yeah, really hard. And the other scenes that were really difficult, I have to admit, were the scenes where Ko gets physical with Coco, the scenes that kind of teeter close to sort of violent reactivity between this father and this son. Those were difficult to shoot because, like I said, I never did speak to Ko. I never saw a police report. I wanted to give this guy a fair shake. There was some ambiguity about what happened in those scenes. So I felt very protective that he not come off as, a monster of a father, because he wasn't. He loved that boy. That is super clear to me. So I remembered going to Liz a lot, and I'd be really upset sometimes. And I would say, please tell me he's not coming off as, just a monster, as a brute. Please humanize him if I'm not able to. She just kept gently encouraging me. She's like, we'll get there. We'll get there. Yeah. I felt very protected.
I'm sure you did, because
but you can't protect a character from some of their flaws either. You can't, right? This is a flawed man, and I think sometimes we do the most credit to a character when we show them
absolutely
in multi dimensions.
And this is a true character. I mean, a real person, so you have to be authentic to that as well.
True.
What do you hope viewers then take away from watching The Girl from Plainville?
I just hope. I think this family got a bad shake. I remember when the story first broke, and it was just kind of a salacious headline. I think the first thing that you think was, what were the parents doing? Where were the parents? What kind of a mother was, look at that father. mental illness is still stigmatized. Suicide is stigmatized. I think the bad parenting card is thrown mostly at mothers. I think it's completely sexist. If a kid has gone wrong, it must, that goes back to shitty Freudian theory, that it must be something the mother did. And that shit, in 2022 has got to go. It's just got to go. So if this does anything to sort of move the needle in that direction of saying, hey, this is a societal problem, a community problem, a school problem. And yes, family and family dynamics are a part of that, but just one sliver of a pie, So I want people to leave the Roy family at peace, and I also want them to leave the Carter family at peace.
It must have been hard shaking off then a day of filming for you, no matter what scene it was.
Yes, I was just telling someone I was really glad we were in Savannah, and I'm glad to have this group of actors. I just adored them. We had so much fun. A group of actors who took the work really seriously, but not themselves. We'd get together. We had one great party at Chloe's one night where we all just went, and oh my God, Colton was there, Elle was there, Kai was there.
You needed that release at that point.
Aya was there, Chloe was there, I was there, and we just played like great 80s and 90s like power pop and punk and disco and danced our asses off for like 3 hours. We all just needed a release because it was a really special cast. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your time to talk to me about this incredible series. I really do hope so many people take away a lot of lessons it brings to light.
Thanks.
My pleasure. Be safe and be well.